Hi, everybody. I am Barbara Giunti, and today I'm going to present you Donut, which is a database of original non-theoretical uses of topology. So what you can see here is the paper that is connected to that, but Donut per se is a database. I just wanted to have a clean tab to start so that I can show you how to Google for it, for example. So if you just search Donut topology, probably this is not going to be enough. Sorry, Donut topology applications database. This should be enough. Exactly. So the first things that you find is Donut. So now we can see what it is. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it really gives you the feeling of a search engine, because it is basically a search engine of, at the moment, over 500 application of topology. So this is a database that, as you can see from the contributor page, has been originally created by me and Yanis. Frequently asked question, yes, has been created by me and Yanis. And at the beginning, it was just a Zotero group. So maybe if you were there around that time, you still have the link to that. Zotero is still the core of Donut, but now it is much more user-friendly because of Bastian, who is the person who basically created this interface. But now, how does it work? What it is exactly? So as I said, here you have a database of papers, each of them that it presents a real-world application, that is why it's non-theoretical, of topology. And the great things about it is that all of these applications are labeled by the area of application, by the mathematical tool that has been used, for example, machine learning or mapper, and also by the data type that they use it. For example, images or time series, etc., etc. And for how it is set up, you can search with binary operator too. So you can use or, you can use not, and you can use and. And also we have encoded the information about the author, for example. And it contains also substrings, so special characters. But let me show you exactly how it works. Let's say that you're just generally interested in, I don't know, biology. So what you want to do is simply search in it, and what you have is that you found 92 papers that are somehow connected with biology. These may mean that they have biology in the title or in the abstract, or that they have it in the tag that we have here. Okay. Now, what if you want to be very specific and not just have it in any part of the paper, but specifically in the tag? You see that now we have a lower number of matches because we are restricted to wherever we have it in the tag. And let me explain a little bit more about what these tags are. So the first line here that you see, and if you're not colorblind, you can see that they are sort of green. This is the area of application, which means that, for example, if you are someone who is not a mathematician, but comes from, I don't know, chemistry or material science or any other area, you could just look it up. What are the application of TDA, of topological data analysis in your area, by simply looking for the tag with this green tag. On the other hand, if you have data in a specific format and you do not care really about which area they have been applied to in, but you really want to know how to use those data in topological data analysis, well, you can use these purplish green labels, which tell you, oh, look, if you have images, and specifically 2 or 3D images, and specifically they are coming from cell type central of point clouds in this case, then you can use this paper to look it up and see how they did it so that you can learn it too. And there are different data types. You can have neural code, you can have GROMACS, the protein data bank, etc., time series, and so on. Last but not least, of course, is what has been used. So for example, if you want to know more about the use of persistent diagrams, you can also click directly and the database will search it for you. And then now you have all the applications that use persistent diagrams in them, which means that if you want to learn more about, for example, how to use the Wasserstein distance in application, you can just go around and look one of those papers and to find a proper explanation of them. Now, I use Donut quite a lot, both for writing grants and introduction of papers, and also finding connection with people from outside math. But what if you come here and you notice that one of your paper that should be in here is not there? Well, do not worry. Well, first of all, you can complain in general because we have a website. Sorry, we have an email account. But also, what you can do is you can fill up the form. Now, this form will it asks you for a lot of details because we need to put all of these label. But once you put them, we will receive a notification. We will receive a notification, and we will upload your work or someone else's work on Donut. So now let me show you a little bit how this works. So now I want to go on taking, sorry. This was not what I wanted to do. Apologies. Okay, now this is one of my recent paper and is not yet on Donut, which is perfect because then I can show you how to do it. So the only things that you need to do is about the information from the paper is simply copy the DOI. So, well, you put your email, in this case, my email. Okay. And then you simply put the code of the paper there. This is enough for us because we will use Zotero to import all the information from your paper, which means that we don't need you don't need to type in all the boring information like the list of the authors, the titles, etc., etc. We will just retrieve them for you. However, it is important that, especially if you are an author, which means that you are one of the most informed person about this paper, about a paper, you tell us exactly what the area of application is. In this case, this was atmospheric science, and in particular, the study of polar vortices, polar vortex, and SSW. You can use either tags that are already in Donut, there is a long list of them, or you can create your own. It doesn't matter because at the end, one of us will just go through this submission and just check that to make the label conform. And if it is a new label, do not worry because it just means that you have a new area of application. So it's very nice. Well, what we use it here, we use a persistent homology. And then specifically, we'll use a super level set persistence. Probably there are some spaces here that I should put, okay. And in this, we used H1 homology, one homology. Okay, the more information you put, the better it is because it will help also other people to understand exactly what you're doing. Now, the input data. This is also important in case someone wants to replicate your analysis. Well, what we have here is that it was a scalar field. So that's very easy, just this. We can actually put, it was a 3D scalar field. Yes. Now, does this method provide novel information or insight that cannot be obtained by other methods? What is very important about this is it is sort of an advertisement for applied topology, explaining that yes, you should learn topology because when you do it, when you apply topology, you can retrieve something that it could not be retrieved before. So sometimes your application is the first time that topology has been applied in a specific area, but this does not qualify for having the innovate tag. It only qualifies if it is bringing something new to that method. Now, what we did in that paper, we provide a new constant-free method, so independent of several thresholds, to classify the polar vortex. And this does qualify as innovate because it is something new that previous method couldn't. All previous methods rely on constant. So now I'm going to explain that our method is constant free, while all previous were not, and provide the evolution of the polar vortex. Okay, this is enough as a justification. It's just for us to understand that the innovate tag should really be there. Now, does this method confirm result from other method? It actually does, because our classification recover the previous classification for other for some specific value, which means I can say yes. Now notice that there will be papers that are neither innovate nor confirm, or they just have one and not the other. Those are not, so it's not mandatory to have these tags. It's just, it helps when one does data analysis. Now, is there a short explanatory video of the paper? Yes, it is. There is. It is in particularly linked here, which means I can just go there and put the video. Perfect. Add the link to the home page of the software used for this analysis. Once again, I can do that because we have it at the very end. So this is the code for the repository. And then we also have the data set that we've been using, because it is, we put it publicly on Zenodo. And so I can just obtain that. Yes, it's not an archive paper. Thank you. As you can see, it's sometimes annoying filling up form, as it usually is. But we are not taking too much time, I hope. Okay. I can just put it here and then solve it later. Perfect. Okay, everything else that you would like to tell us? This depends really on you. In this case, I don't have anything in particular. I put all the information that I wanted to have. Please notice that if you do not have the repository with the dataset available, or the code is not public, or you don't have an AATRN video, I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be on the AATRN. It could be just a general video, a general YouTube video. None of those questions is mandatory. It helps for, reproduce your experiments, and it of course help your visibility, but is not something that you have to have. And then you submit it. Thank you very much. And then we will simply, I will have got a notification and I will include that on Donut. So I hope that you will be using Donut even more. And if you have any question, please just contact us. We will be very happy to get feedback and comments. We are still working on improving both the use of Donut and also the tags. So we are very happy to get any comment. Thank you very much.